It's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pod on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Thanks for supporting those that support us. Like our friend Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes. Jimmy's in the house. Oh,
yeah, baby.
Got his Bret Hart hat on.
Yes.
Mark.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
And he's a bitch, though. We'll talk about that later.
He's not that big of a bitch.
And Mark Hillman. It's his birthday on Thursday. He's getting all ready for that. Got a whole week off.
I do have a week off. Yes.
This is fantastic.
Yep.
Kevin's back.
Barely.
Not
alive, but
Kevin's
barely.
back. This was amazing.
Buddy, back.
It's
2
amazing.
for 1,
In
Kevin.
shape.
So I get a text from Kevin yesterday with your statement that Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes, after 21 years, has decided that it is just going to close on the 29th, but keep open the catering portion, which your dad runs, Poppy.
Yep.
As well as the food truck, which you have a big hand in.
Yeah, this past season, we had management. We had a great manager at the restaurant, which allowed me to step away from day to day at the restaurant.
Yeah.
He was new at it, and he was doing a great job. But the one thing that was relieving for him was that I just took the food truck completely. Like, I took care of all the bookings. I ran it. I worked it.
So you can do that again?
Myself and Poppy.
Yeah.
I worked more with Pops last summer on the truck than I have in years.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Like, I had so much fun last summer.
That's good. I'm
working the
glad.
truck.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It was fun again.
Yeah.
I needed to rely on 1 to 2 people,
Yep.
which is not hard to rely on.
Right.
And we all had fun. I was on the line. I was cooking all the food.
Yeah.
Like, I was having it felt like it used to feel
So
You
years
were
ago.
cranking that one day at Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You were out there.
It was a great time.
Just killing it.
I mean, I had to have Bill go to the
It's not bad you were killing it.
Tops and get me more burger and hot dog buns.
Calls me up. Where are you? I'm on the throughway. Are you going to pass Tops? Yes. Can you stop and get me?
I said,
get me as many as you can.
And because we tend to, when we do parties like that, okay, it's so tough to judge how many are going to get plates and how many are going to get burgers and dogs on buns.
You didn't know how many plates Keontae was going to eat.
We sold like 2 plates and like 30 hot dogs and 30 hamburgers, and I'm like, I'm running out of bread. So Bill for the win.
Talk to me about the decision to close. Hard one to come. I mean, is it?
It was very.
You own the building.
It was very hard to come because this is something that we worked so hard for so long to have what we have today.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to happen is for something so important to you and something so important to a lot of people. It seems by the reaction we've gotten.
Yeah.
No, it was one of the hardest decisions we had to make, but unfortunately, the business just has not been profitable since COVID.
Okay.
Since COVID the business has and it's not because we're not busy. Okay, the bridge isn't helping. The bridge has really, really hurt every business on Main Street in Brockport.
Right.
But it wasn't. We were struggling before the bridge closed.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
We finally got ourselves to a position where we could get food costs under control. Food costs are great right now.
Yeah.
Which during COVID, those were a big problem.
Yeah.
We've been able to, things go up and go down. That's just the nature of the market with anything that you're doing. There's certain times that your lettuce is going to cost you more money. There's certain times things are going to cost you more money. And the food cost was able to go down. But one thing that is almost impossible to make right now, unless myself and Poppy work full time like we did 20 years ago, is the payroll.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what's the point?
So it just got to a point where how much more are we going to put in?
Yeah, to get out.
To try to make this thing work.
Right.
To get through this.
Right.
So, and
So what's next?
well, we have a lot of catering booked up.
That's perfect.
And we're collecting food truck deposits.
Yeah.
See, that's where the money is now, right? Isn't that where
Catering is where the money's at. And it's here's the whole thing. It's you definitely want to go where the money's at, right?
Oh, yeah, you do.
But we are the catering and the food truck are not the reason why we have to shut down. We have to shut down because it's costing us money to operate under these circumstances.
Gotcha.
There's so many places closing down now.
The labor rate
Yeah.
labor rate in New York State has made it impossible for the average small business to stay profitable.
Got it. Well, that's really encouraging news.
It's an unfortunate truth of what's going on.
So have you seen the piece that Channel 8 did on you?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, for those who haven't, we'll play the audio. This is Channel 8. I think that's you have to think, Jimmy, how many places of a similar type, right? There's lots of places, have the cachet of a Jimmy Z. The news is coming. I mean, I think that's pretty impressive. No?
I do.
You want to know what is the biggest acknowledgement in times like this?
What's that? All the people?
Is when Nick Tahoe's
Yeah.
tweets you
Yeah.
with a respect.
Yeah. I believe it.
That right there for us, the support they've shown us over the years, period.
Yeah.
When we closed for COVID, when we opened back up, when we had to close, when I tore my meniscus and we opened back up, like the people who gave us a platform, the Plate Society, a platform to be able to make a living.
Yeah.
And because of them and their creation, I was able to open up something, make it my own, give them the credit they deserve for what they created, and have our own following.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did. This is the Channel 8 piece, the CBS affiliate in the Rochester area.
Well, sad business news for customers of Jimmy Z's in Brockport, as a Facebook post from earlier today announcing the area garbage plate hotspot will close its restaurant portion later this month. Gio Pataglia stopped by there today to hear how the community is reacting to the announcement.
Isabel, Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes in Brockport has provided to the community and nearby college students during its 21-year run. But a post on Facebook earlier today did announce they will close the doors of their restaurant at the end of the month. A staple on State Street. That's what those who attend SUNY Brockport told me is the perfect way to describe Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes. On Facebook Sunday morning, owner Jimmy Zazovsky writing, "To all of our devoted faithful."
Did you get your last name right?
Yes.
Okay.
On the money.
On the money.
On the money.
I was very impressed. I saw that. I went, wow.
How many times did they ask you?
Right. I mean,
Nobody talked to me.
Yeah.
They didn't see me that day.
They did not.
No, so he hit it right on the money.
Yeah.
For having time to reflect, Poppy and I have decided that it would just not be Jimmy Z's without us. Going on to say, it has been an absolute privilege to serve you, and we cannot thank you enough for embracing us. I talked with a group of first-year college students who had heard the news early Sunday. Stocking up on T-shirts and other memorabilia, they say to get a...
This could be amazing. I'm honestly, I would think that the plates, the merchandise has got to sell out.
Oh, we sold a lot of teas last
I'm
week.
thinking.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go to the factory tomorrow morning.
That's what I thought.
How to those who will be coming up for one last Jimmy Z's plate. Adding, while they've only been there a few times, it's going to be hard to find somewhere as fulfilling and as close as Jimmy Z's is.
You really are leaving a kind of a gaping hole there. In a way, right? I mean...
Oh, definitely.
Right?
If my health, physically and mentally, did not suffer as much as it has over the last 6 years...
You'd keep going.
I would keep going.
Yeah. Why do I have a funny feeling like you just need to take a break? You almost need to be like Ricky Waters when he just stepped away from the Miami Dolphins for a little while, and then he came back and he was a monster. For a few.
I've been nonstop since 5th grade on the weekends.
Yeah, I believe. Well, hey, Jimmy, you're never gonna not stop. So don't. I mean, that
we're just going to apply that not stopping to different.
But
things.
I mean, you're going to tell me you worked on the weekends? You were hustling in something in the hallways. You were probably selling candy.
I will tell you this story, and I might have shared it before.
I don't remember.
Okay. But the first pair of tickets, Amex tickets, I ever won off of Bob Matthews.
Yes.
When I was in 5th grade also.
Okay.
I walked and knocked on every door in my apartment complex until somebody bought those tickets.
Yeah.
In 5th grade.
Yeah.
Nobody, so yeah, so
So
and
that was a Thursday night, not a weekend.
right. Yeah.
There's not another spot that's like close that I feel like is like this. Yeah, there's nowhere else where you really think to go to if you're like, okay, I'm hungry and it's late. There's nowhere else around here I really feel like you can just go with your friends and just kind of, a relaxed environment and, just kind of enjoy a meal together with your friends.
That Facebook post going on to explain this year's Leap Day, February 29th, will be when they close their doors of the restaurant. Reporting in Brockport, Gio Battaglia, News 8.
Now, listen up to this, Jimmy. Pay attention.
Listen to
this.
Listen, hold on a second. No warning is necessary for what I'm about to hear.
Okay, that's right.
All right, Gio, thank you very much. And owner Jimmy Zavosky.
What?
See
what?
He says his Papa's Catering and food truck will still be available until September of this year.
She had a fried mushroom in her mouth.
No, she went to the butcher shop.
she butchers everything. So it's not
But you know what? But listen, you know what?
So close to the spectrum would have gotten it.
Right. That has been happening my whole life.
I mean, no, I'm sure it
know
has.
what I mean, so like in gym class, when they got to me, it was just like, okay, you're here. Okay.
Now, Mark, you've lived here your whole life.
Yeah.
What had something like this closing?
Yeah.
Right. It's sort of, I guess, for lack of a better term, institutional in a way. Right.
Absolutely.
We all know it. We know where it is. What closed that was the biggest marker of time? Like I think
It's happening now.
It's happening now.
Yeah, Tucci's on Lyle Avenue, which I've been going to for many years.
What is it?
It was like a kind of a Darv, kind of a old school mob bar.
Okay.
It's
called Two Cheese?
It was called Two Cheese.
Two Cheese.
Two Cheese, yeah.
I thought it was Two Cheese.
Like Parmesan,
No,
like Parmesan and Romano.
That's what I thought he meant.
Right.
But it's Tucci.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last name,
Yep.
Tucci, yeah. Okay.
And that closed down.
That's closing down.
And that's been there for, 30, 40 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I always thought, like, you had Diamonds and you had all these other places that kind of came and went, right?
Those came and went.
Yeah,
though.
they didn't really matter.
All of a sudden, when you have a place like this,
Two Cheese was a...
You
well, that would be like Thirsty's closing.
exactly,
Right, yeah.
100%.
You know this one too.
Same way.
Remember Bosdike's back
When
in the
Bosdike's
corner? That
closed.
was a big restaurant back in the day. I used to love that place.
Bosdike's?
And they shut down, yeah.
And they closed down. What about what's the one that was around the corner from you? It was a party house.
Oh, Golden Ponds?
Golden Ponds.
Well, that was closed because
That was infestations.
Yeah,
and
yeah, but
that was
Everyone
dead.
was
been a
glad
lot.
that closed.
By the way, Jimmy, there's been a few places that have made the news recently for health code violations.
Not so nice.
No,
There's a whole list.
Yeah, did you see these?
Yes.
There's a couple. Like I go, oh
Yes.
man. Now
One had the doo-doo in the flour.
I didn't want to read it.
I'm like, how do you? I
I
mean,
mean, because it's the mouse got in there.
You
And
know
the
who
mouse
wasn't
cracked.
on there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
BTB.
BTB
but
was
the
not on.
mouse got in there and shit. How did it get out? Did it just climb itself back out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Hey,
it did.
Jimmy Z's wasn't on there either, baby.
No,
right. Jimmy Z.
We're pristine.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be very hard. Do they come in often? How does the health inspector?
Twice a year.
Twice a year? Is that what they did when you were?
Yeah, and it's funny. Our health inspector,
Yeah.
her and her husband used to come in and have dinner. That's how that's how clean Bathtub Billy's was. That's
Okay.
That's how Matt did it. That they would come in. We would see her and her husband at
Yeah.
least once a week.
But it's got to be a tough thing. Now, I remember when Balsam Bago got shut down, and I said to somebody, I go, when they reopen, I would be the first in line because I know
it's going to be clean.
Yeah,
right.
it's going to be the most clean it's been.
That's right.
Had I been eating there before, I survived. I'll keep, you know what I mean? Like if I like it, if it's become a Tucci's bar in my life, you know what I'm saying?
right.
The thing with infestation, it's going to happen, and it just needs to be taken care of before it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Like we can't stop, the businesses like that can't stop sometimes from some of the, these critters showing up.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like they can't be there for very long.
No.
And if you're finding this stuff in flour, if you're finding this stuff on counters, if you're finding this stuff on tables, it means the problem wasn't taken care of in the timely fashion it should be taken care of.
Yeah.
Because
You're going to find them in your house. Like this is a part of nature.
Hang on a second. I have a new job for you.
Yeah.
Consult.
I could be a consultant.
I think you could be a damn good consultant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because it's easy. You don't have the day-to-day pressure. When you like getting in the line of fire, you can get in the line of fire.
Listen, success is not, there isn't any cheat codes with success. It's pretty black and white. It's pretty simple. There's multiple processes, and you just have to follow them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you have so many other things. I mean, like, you don't need the headache. It's basically at this point.
Hey, we had a sneaker release again, you know how to take care of that.
He's got this whole sneaker empire on the side that's going on.
I need sneakers.
And he's got buildings.
And the thing about it is that the sad part about this, and I don't talk about this a lot, but this is sad but true. Okay. It's been too long that the earnings that I've made in my other ventures are the reason why we've been able to keep the store open as long as we've had that.
Yeah, I believe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the saddest truth about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that we tried, we talked to multiple potential buyers, and there were a few that could cut the mustard and just wasn't good timing for them.
Right.
And there was just some people that we just didn't feel would be the right fit, and we feel that it would, it sounds good on paper type
Yes,
thing,
it
but
does.
but you know what? Like
you got to go with your gut.
and
right?
then we
And you have to have the work ethic.
And then I just sat down with Poppy and I said, listen, I said I just think that I go back to the end of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And it ended when John Bonham died.
Yeah.
Because without John Bonham, there's no Led Zeppelin.
Right.
And without Jimmy and Poppy, there's no Jimmy Z's.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy.
So, okay. But I will ask this. Jimmy Z's also, so it's almost like an odd thing because the sneaker empire, I'll call it that, came about because of Jimmy Z's?
The 401Z?
Yeah.
The 401Z came about because I was a natural, like I grew up a sneakerhead.
Yeah. So that was always going on, or it just grew more? You had more.
My passion for sneakers started when I was a kid because I idolized Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So my first pair of Jordans was 4th grade.
Yep.
Air Jordan 6s.
Yeah.
I wanted the 5s to be my first pair, and my uncle was going to get them for me until that Sports Illustrated cover came out that said, your sneakers are your life.
Oh,
and the photo of the shoes that were on the cover were the exact ones that I wanted.
Yeah, we got it.
And he said, I can't get these for you.
No, of course not.
No,
Could you imagine what your mom would have done?
Well, my dad got them for me the year after.
Things calmed down by that.
I was going to say things blew over.
Yeah.
But I've been a sneakerhead ever since. And, and then when Jordan retired, I stopped buying Jordans.
Yeah.
And then, 09 came around, which was 10 years later.
Okay.
A pair of shoes was being re-released that I always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never able to get. Came out, and I bought 4 pairs for $190 a piece. The next day, I sold 1 pair on Christmas Eve for $400, and I said, this is not a bad hustle.
Not a bad hustle. No, not a bad hustle.
And it started in 09, like small time, probably had like 30 or 40 brand new pairs of sneakers at one point.
Yeah.
Probably had like 50 of my own personal pairs. But I didn't just bust open brand new pairs. Like I'm on eBay here buying, shoes I want lightly used, buying them for way less retail. You know what I mean? Just like, I've lived below my means on top of all this.
Well, I know that, but you also were smart because I think you took some of the money and then invested into, you own the building that Jimmy Z's is in. You own other buildings, right?
Because of, in 2005, we bought our first investment property in Brockport.
Yeah.
And since then, we have purchased 16 or 17 properties, and we have now sit on 12.
Damn.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
It's pretty good, huh?
It's
pretty good.
And those
What have you and I have been doing?
Wow.
And now
You want to partner up into nothing?
wow. Now Jimmy Z's helped,
Because that's where I am.
Jimmy Z's in 2 ways helped finance the first property.
Okay.
The first way it helped finance the property was the funding available to have enough for a down payment.
Right.
The second part of how Jimmy Z's funded this place was while it was for sale. This was the old Jimmy Mac's, 1 Main Street, and once Jimmy Mac's closed, the building had already been for sale by the owner, which is not Mac's. They paid rent. Once Mac's closed, it got people looking at the property. They saw it was for sale. I went and looked at it. Not going to lie. I went and looked at it for operational reasons, and I went and looked at it for purchasing reasons. Okay, because in 2005, I didn't know any better yet that I didn't need another restaurant like I need a hole in my head.
Gotcha.
You know. And we looked at it, but that was as far as it went. Lady who was interested in buying the property, she heard that we looked at it and interested in the business. She walked into Jimmy Z's asking us if we wanted to rent it. And I was kind of, I mean, it was 2005. I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it was 5 p.m. I'd been working 7 days a week straight, till 4 a.m. Wednesday through Saturday. Like this lady walks in at 5 o'clock right in the beginning of my shift when I haven't even drinking my full throttle yet. And she wants to talk business. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm not buying this place, I don't want to talk to her. My dad's like, okay, fine. Old man comes back like 10 minutes later and he goes, well, son, you just bought yourself your first property. I said, what do you mean? She's buying the business, or she's buying the property, and she's willing to hold the paper for us, and we're going to purchase it from her.
Nice.
So my credibility to find someone to mortgage a property for me happened because of what we had accomplished just in the first 2 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then the reason why the portfolio got to the size it is because to this day, I have not taken a paycheck from any of the housing income.
Okay.
All the housing income has all
Just
rolled
goes
over.
right back. Yeah.
It's all rolled over, and it's all paid. It's just paid off mortgage after mortgage. So right now I'm still sitting on 12 properties, and
I think we need to have the Jimmy Z economics class.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Sell that.
Yeah. So
right?
Right now the 12 properties we're sitting on, I only have 1 mortgage on it. Everything's paid because every year, once I had enough roll in, I looked at the next because every mortgage was built differently. There were some that had a minimum on them, umbrella, life. Yeah. Some that didn't have life, you can pay it off. I saw one I didn't have life on it. I'm going to cut you a check next week, sir.
Gotcha. All right, we will. We'll take a moment when we come back.
We talk about all the things that I've lost and that I can't get back.
Would you like to?
Yeah,
this is your life. This is your birthday week. Do you want to be depressed? It's your birthday
have
week.
the memories of the watch, Mark.
I will. So when we come back, there's Facebook. Well, let's say Facebook, social media in general. We telling ourselves so much, and I don't think we realize it. And Kevin sent me a news story. But then, since Jimmy Z's here, and you hire and probably have had to fire people, I don't know. I want
worst part of the job. I can tell you that.
Worst part of the job.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I don't like being a mean guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Matt loved that shit.
Poor Matt.
Yeah.
Matt loved.
I mean, they made me mean, but I didn't like it.
So we will. I will play you what's happening and what 20,000 people have done on TikTok that has amassed over 300 million views. We'll get to all that next, but first.